Hi guys, Adam from Middles Panel Builders, and today we're going to be taking this aircraft up, which is equipped with the G3X touch system and a GTN navigator, and we're going to show you how to properly execute approach procedures and also how to do missed approaches when you're done with those procedures so that you can keep your workload as low as possible when you're doing this for real. As I said, this aircraft is equipped with G3X Touch. It's also equipped with two GTN 750XI navigators. Now that is overkill, that's obviously not necessary, but that's what we're going to be using in this aircraft. What we're going to do is we're going to start with an ILS approach, then we're going to do a VOR approach, and then finally we're going to do an RNAV approach. And with the ILS approach and the VOR approach, we're going to take them both down to their minimums. Now the VOR approach, what we're going to do is we're going to level off at the MDA, and then we're going to overfly the missed approach point and then fly the missed approach procedure. And then we're going to do the missed approach procedure as well with the ILS, but it will behave a little bit differently. And then with the RNAV approach, we're going to purposefully go to minimums and stay there. Even though it's a DA, we're going to stay at the DA, and we're going to wait and see what happens if we hit the go-around button too late. So let's go ahead and get started with doing that, and we'll see you in the air.
Let's approach Skyline 229 Lima Papa.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, Great Lakes.
We're about 6 miles or so to the west of Delta 95, and at 3,500, let's do a couple of practice approaches if that's possible.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, squawk 0437.
0437, Skyline 9 Lima Papa.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, radar contact 12 miles east of the Flint Airport, Flint altimeter 2994, and say approach request.
904, we do have golf, and we're going to start with the ILS 27 with the published miss. 9 Lima Papa.
Roger, turn left heading at 240 vector to ILS 27, final approach course.
240 for ILS 27, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so we are being vectored now for the ILS 27 approach going into Flint. So now what I'm going to do is go to my navigator, click on approach. I'm going to select the ILS 27. We're going to do vectors to final, and I'm on heading mode right now because I'm being vectored, so I'll load and activate. We will accept that message. Okay, so now we are directory. So I'm going to, or correction, not directory, but that's our next waypoint on the vectors to final. I'm going to switch over to the 109.9er frequency that was pre-tuned for me on both units. And now it should automatically sequence us over to VLOC when we intercept the final approach course, so we'll make sure that happens. Let's look at the approach plate really quick. We'll come to charts on the G3X under the waypoint page, and I will select the ILS 27. And we can see that our decision altitude is 970, so I'll tap on the HSI. I will go to minimum set, 970, enter. We'll verify 109.9er, and that's what we have tuned in. I will get my tower and ground frequencies preloaded. Tower 126.3. And ground on number 2 is going to be 121.9er. Our missed approach procedure is going to be a straight ahead climb to 2,600, and then we're going to follow the 275 radial off the Flint VOR to Selfie. Our bearing pointer just picked up the ILS, and now we just switched over to localizer, so everything seems to be working the way that it should. Our chart just switched over to daytime mode. It's about 7:30 in the morning, so we just flipped over to out of sunrise.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, 6 miles from Torrey, maintain at or above 3,000, or actually just maintain VFR, cleared ILS runway 27.
Cleared ILS runway 27, maintaining VFR, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so we've got a CDI, we've got a VDI. I'm going to arm the approach mode. We've got localizer in gray, we've got glide slope in gray. That means that those are armed. Here comes our localizer needle. I'm going to reduce speed to approach speed. Alright, here comes our intercept. We've got the blinking localizer.
Wake, Meridian 716 Lima Romeo, climbing to 1,800 for 3,000 with you.
Alright, we have intercepted.
Lima Papa, contact Flint Tower 126.3 with exit.
Going to tower, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Flint Tower, Skyline 229 Lima Papa, ILS 27.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, Flint Tower, wind 200 at 5. Runway 27, clear for the option. After the option, execute the published mist, except maintain VFR at or below 2,500.
Okay, cleared for the option. We will execute the published mist, and we will maintain VFR at or below 2,500, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so we're on glide slope now, so let's get set up. So I'm going to set my altitude select to 2,500. I'm going to synchronize my heading bug just for organization purposes. I'm going to reduce power a little bit more so that we can get closer to our 90 knots. We're verifying that everything's happy here. We're on a stabilized approach. And now I will just go ahead and pull up my approach plate. And we'll wait to get down to minimums. Okay, we're just passing Taurus. I'll put my first notch of flaps in. Alright, so what's going to happen here is when we execute the mist approach, I'm going to hit the toga button and apply power. And we'll start our climb out straight ahead. It'll go into go-around mode, which will give us a nose-up attitude and wings level. As we're climbing out, I'm going to verify on the GTN here, which I'll switch to the map page, that it sequences the mist approach for us. And then once I verify that, we will do a GPS course, and I will execute an indicated airspeed climb at 90 knots to our pre-selected altitude. To use the go-around button properly, you have to make sure that you get to your mist approach point, which in this case is going to be our decision altitude of 970, or on a VOR approach, or LP or LNAV approach, which I'll show you shortly, is going to be an actual waypoint that you'll pass.
500.
Yeah, there's a 500-foot call out.
And 190 at 5.
Got about 200 to go. There's our minimums bar approaching.
Minimums.
There's minimums. I'm going to hit go around and we're going to sequence.
Flint Tower, Skyhawk 518 Sierra Papa, ready for departure on runway 18 at Alpha 2.
Skyhawk 518 Sierra Papa, Flint Tower, wind 190 at 5, turn left heading 150, runway 18 at Alpha 2, clear for takeoff.
Left 150, runway 18 at Alpha 2, clear for takeoff, 8 Sierra Papa.
Flint Tower, Skyline 9 Lima Papa's on the go.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, roger, contact Great Lakes approach on 118.8.
Going to approach 9 Lima Papa. Flint approach, Skyline 229 Lima Papa, on the go off the ILS 27 for the mist.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, Great Lakes departure ident.
Ident 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm waiting for my bar to come in and then I'll intercept the GPS course. We are climbing out at 90 knots and I did verify that the hold's coming up. Okay, so we're coming up on the 275 off the Flint VOR, so I just switched over to nav mode, and now we're just letting it intercept that course and take us to the missed approach point. And then once again, we got IAS mode at 90 knots, we're climbing up to 2,500 feet.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, radar contact 2 miles west of the Flint Airport, execute the published mist as requested, maintain VFR, and just let me know what you want after.
Okay, we will maintain VFR and fly the published mist. We're going to do the VOR 18 after this. We'll just do one turn in the hold, and then coming up on selfie, we'll take vectors for that.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, roger.
Now, one thing to note about doing a mist approach like Flint's ILS 27 is that on the mist approach, you have to intercept the Flint VOR radial 275. So, in my case, what I had to do is wait until that needle was going to start to come in, then hit the nav button. If I hit the nav button too early, what would happen is the airplane would turn to intercept and then pick it up, and that would have turned me, further south than I really would have liked to have been. So I elected to wait, then picked it up, and then now we're tracking that off of the GPS. All right, we're coming up on selfie. This is going to be a teardrop entry into this hold, so we're going to perform the teardrop with the left turn, and then we'll do a turn in the hold, and then on the outbound to selfie, we will be picking up the VOR 18, which we will load into the GTN once we actually start doing that. All right, so here comes our right turn into the hold now. Okay, so we're in the selfie hold now. So let's go over that approach real quick. So we descended on the ILS 27 down to minimums, which was 970. And then once we hit 970, I hit the go-around button and applied throttle. Go-around keeps me wings level, climbing at, I forget exactly what the specified pitch up angle is on here, I think about 7 degrees. So wings level, climb until I intervene, or until we reach the altitude pre-select. It will continue to keep you wings level the whole entire time, but it will only climb as high as the altitude pre-select is set. So that's why I had preset my 2,500 foot restriction that Tower gave me on the climb out. Then, when that needle came in to intercept the radial from the Flint VOR, I hit the nav button and then let it fly the 275 radial out to selfie, and then we did our procedure turn, or rather our teardrop entry into the hold. Next, we're going to do one more turn here, and then we are going to ask Flint to give us our vectors for the VOR runway 18 approach, and then we will demonstrate what happens when you're doing approach with an MDA, not a DA. Great Lakes Skyline 9 Lima Papa, we'll take that 18 approach when you're ready.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, roger. Keep the hold heading 050 vectors with VOR 18 Papa.
Okay, we'll exit the hold 050 for the VOR 18, Skyline 9 Lima Papa.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, how will this approach terminate?
We're going to do the full mist, and then time permitting, we'll do one more ILS runway 27, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so now we are being vectored for the VOR 18 approach on a 050 heading. So I can load the approach now, so I'll hit approach. I will switch to the VOR 18. Now, that's a plus V approach, so what that means is that it will give us vertical guidance for that. We are getting vectors, so we will go ahead and load and activate. And now we will wait. So with this approach, one thing of note is, again, this is a VOR plus V approach as far as the GPS is concerned, which means that it will actually give us vertical guidance in the form of a VDI that the autopilot could couple to and follow. We're not going to do it that way, however. What we are going to do is fly this like a normal VOR approach where we do our own step downs at the appropriate waypoints. So that means that we're going to be starting at 2,500, and then we're going to cross Hebub at 1560, and then we'll descend to 1,300, and we'll remain there until we hit our missed approach point, which is the VOR, and that's depicted by the M on this JEB chart. After crossing this point, this is going to be the point in which we hit the go-around button, and we add power and climb out.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, turn right heading is 090.
090, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. One quick tip for you guys is if you're given a turn that requires you to spin the heading bug around a lot, one thing you can do instead is you can just tap on the heading over here and type in whatever that heading is, which is what I did earlier when my heading bug was set to, I think, roughly 270, and I just hit heading and hit 050 because that was the turn that they gave me at the time. So that's a nice way to make things a little bit easier. You can actually do that with the altitude bug as well if you wanted to, and if you're flying VOR, you can do that with the course button as well.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, 9 miles from the Flint VOR, turn right heading 180, maintain VFR, clear to VOR runway 18.
Turn right heading 180 and maintain VFR, and we will we're cleared for the VOR 18 approach, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, one thing I'm going to do real quick is now that we're turning inbound, I'm going to pre-select 1,600 feet on the autopilot. Even though we're not going to go there just yet, I'm going to have it ready so that I don't have to do it later. As much as you can pre-complete these tasks, the better off you'll be. And again, once we come up with the needle coming in, we will go ahead and select GPS mode on the autopilot. So I just hit the nav mode, and we are now intercepting the course. We got our final approach fix.
Papa, contact Flint Tower 126.3, second bit.
126.3, talk to you soon, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Flint Tower, Skyline 229 Lima Papa, VOR 18.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, Flint Tower, wind 180 at 5, runway 18, cleared for the option. After the option, execute the published mist.
Cleared for the option, runway 18, we will fly the published after the option, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so we're tracking the inbound course right now. So the way that I did this, first of all, this is flying on GPS. This is an LNAV plus V
yeah,
on the
4704
GTN
Tower.
750. So what I did is I waited until the needle was just behind the first dot on the CDI, and then I hit nav mode. What I didn't want this to do is turn me into the course and then turn me onto course. So to get a nicer intercept, I waited until that came in. Now, as we come up on the final approach fix, I'm going to go ahead and start dropping our altitude. Of course, you can see the glide path coming in. We're not going to follow that. We're going to do this as a normal step-down approach, like I said. This can be kind of confusing because we are doing a VOR approach, but it is staying in GPS mode. But since WAS GPS can be an alternate means, GTN is taking over and doing it itself. So here we are on our final approach fix. So I will do a vertical speed descent at 500 feet per minute, and I will reduce power to match. Alright, here we are coming up on 1,600 feet. So now what I'm going to do is set up our MDA of 1,300, and we're about half mile from EBUB, so we'll be descending that very soon here, actually. Okay, here comes EBUB. We will do a vertical speed descent at 500 feet per minute once again.
SkyWest 4704, enjoy Chicago, and contact departure. Good morning.
Oh, we will. We'll be over at departure. Sky 4704, you have a great day.
Okay, here comes 1,300 feet, it's capturing it. Now, as soon as we get leveled off at 1,300, what I'm going to do
500.
is I'm going to pre-select my 3,000 foot missed approach altitude, since we're maintaining 1,300.
Minimums.
There's our minimums call out. And we're going to continue to our missed approach point, which is the Flint VOR. Alright, there's our missed approach waypoint. So I'm going to hit the button, and we are on the go. Flint Tower, Skyline 9 Lima Papa's on the go.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, roger, execute the published mist and contact Great Lakes approach on 118.8.
Alright, we're going to fly the mist, then we're going to contact approach, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Great Lakes approach, Skyline 229 Lima Papa, flying the mist.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, Great Lakes, approach Trident.
Ident, Skyline 9 Lima Papa.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, air contact 1 mile south of the Flint Airport, continue with published mist, and hold at Caddy as published, maintain VFR.
Okay, we're continuing with the published mist, and we will maintain VFR, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Alright guys, so let's talk about what happened here. So, we got down to our missed approach waypoint, which was the Flint VOR. The message came up on the GPS letting us know that we had reached that waypoint. That message coming up on the GPS is our cue to go around, if we have to. So that's what we did. So we pushed the go around button, applied power, and climbed. The same way that we did the ILS approach, as soon as we were ready and we knew that this was sequenced, I hit nav mode so that it would fly the mist. And I also did an indicated airspeed climb at 90 knots, which is what we're doing right now, and we're going up to 3,000, which is our published missed approach altitude. We are intercepting the outbound course of 097 from the Flint VOR, and then we will fly the hold at Caddy. It would appear that it's going to go ahead and teardrop us into that hold. So it's going to take us to Caddy, and then we're going to do a left turn on the 45 outbound, or 45 outbound from Caddy, that is, and then bring it back into the inbound course. Okay, so here we are we crossed Katy, and we are now on 45 degree outbound from Katy to do the teardrop back into the hold. And that teardrop actually will be coming up here in just a moment.
9 Lima Papa, traffic 3 miles southeast of your position, northeast bound, altitude indication 3,000.
Traffic in sight, Skyline 9 Lima Papa.
And 9 Lima Papa, roger.
Okay, so we're back inbound to Katy, and what we're going to do is crossing Katy, we're going to turn south. We're going to get away from the extended center line of runway 27, and then we're going to proceed inbound to JAGME for the RNAV 27 approach. So in just a few seconds here, actually let's do it right now. Okay, we're turning southbound. I'll let approach know what I'm doing, and then we'll get back with you once we're back inbound to JAGME and we're loading the approach in. Okay. So we'll load the approach now for the RNAV 27, so hit approach. We'll go to approach RNAV 27 LPV, and we'll just do transition JAGME. We won't fly the course reversal. And we will load and activate. now we are direct JAGME. So I'm going to hit nav, and it's going to fly that turn for us. You can see it actually gave us a nice little hook turn there automatically. Approach 229 Lima Papa, we are flying inbound JAGME now.
Charlie 229 Lima Papa, cross JAGME, maintain VFR cleared, RNAV runway 27 approach.
Okay, we'll maintain VFR, and we're cleared for the RNAV 27, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so we're inbound JAGME. We've got the approach plate pulled up here. The approach technically starts at 2900, but we're going to stay at 3000 for now. It is giving us a VNAV descent to the 2900 required, which is kind of nice, so we could follow that if we wanted to, but there's no need to. So everything's loaded in, GTN's ready to go. We'll come over to our map, we'll verify that the approach is in there, and it is, so everything's happy there. Let me go ahead and program in my minimums, which is 1098.
Got a 65, Delta Charlie radar contact.
And we're ready to go. Now we're going to start turning inbound.
Flint Airport, altimeter 2994, verify altitude.
Okay, 2994.
And here comes our turn inbound.
500 for 5 Delta Charlie.
Delta 5 Delta Charlie, roger. Fly heading 010, see back to the sequence for
Fly heading 010, vector to
There's our glide path.
65
I will arm the approach now. And we've got glide path in gray, so we know that it is in fact armed. Okay.
229 Lima Papa, contact Flint Tower 126.3.
Going to tower, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Flint Tower, Skyline 229 Lima Papa, RNAV 27.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, Flint Tower, wind 170 at 6, runway 27, clear for the option. After the option, turn right on course to Mount Lapeer.
Clear for the option, runway 27, and we will turn right on course after the option, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Okay, so we've got our glide path coming in here. It's about to meet the middle of the VDI, and we should see it switch over here any second now. And there it is, it's capturing it. I will reduce power. Okay, so this approach is going to be a little bit different, guys. Instead of hitting go around, I'm going to hit altitude hold once we get to our 1100 feet, and then I'm going to just maintain altitude at 1100. We'll do a low approach, and then we'll see what happens on the GPS, and then we'll climb out.
Winds 170 at 6.
And here it comes, 1100.
Minimum.
We're going to maintain altitude. Okay, we're arriving at the runway 27. Let's see what happens on this LPV approach. Okay, it asked us if we wanted to go around, so I'll hit go around and we'll get out of here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit indicated airspeed mode and GPS. We'll climb out at 90 knots. Flint Tower, Skyline 9 Lima Papa's on the go.
November 9 Lima Papa, roger. November 9 Lima Papa, amend your instructions, fly runway heading.
Fly runway heading, 9 Lima Papa.
November 9 Lima Papa, contact departure 188.
18.8, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. Helix departure, Skyline 229 Lima Papa, runway heading, and we'd like to go back to Delta 95 when able.
Skyline 229 Lima Papa, Great Lakes departure, ident.
Ident, 229 Lima Papa.
Skyline 9 Lima Papa, radar contact, 2 miles west of Flint Airport, turn right heading 350, stay short vector for traffic inbound to runway 18.
350, Skyline 9 Lima Papa. So that concludes our approaches. We're going to go ahead and return to the Lapeer Airport, and then we'll go ahead and debrief on the ground what had happened here.
Okay, so that was it for those approaches. So to recap, we did the ILS runway 27 at Flint, and as soon as we hit the minimum, the decision altitude, we hit the go around button and we climbed out. Now with that approach, like I said in flight, we waited for the GPS needle to come in a little bit closer to center before hitting nav. The reason we did that is because we are intercepting, I believe it was the 275 radial out of the Flint VOR, which is not exactly in line with the runway. So what we don't want to do is hit that nav button to follow GPS and have it pull us into the approach, or rather the missed approach course, and then take us outbound, because that would have turned us a little bit south over the field. So we waited for that to come in, we hit nav, and then we executed the published missed procedure. Then we came back around and did the VOR 18 with no procedure turn. So we went, they gave us vectors, and then we went inbound into the final approach fix for the VOR 18 approach. We descended down to MDA, which was 1,300 feet, and we stayed there. The missed approach point on that approach was the Flint VOR. After we crossed the Flint VOR, the GPSs gave us a message saying that the missed approach waypoint has been reached. At that point, we hit go around and we did our climb, and then joined our missed approach procedure and did a turn in it. Then we set up for the RNAV 27. Setting up for the RNAV 27, we did this with the intent of purposely waiting too late to hit the go around button to see what would happen. You'll notice when we did the ILS approach, the message that said that GPS guidance was suspended never even came up. So we wanted to see what would happen. So we executed the RNAV 27 approach, and we stayed at the decision altitude of roughly 1,100 feet. About, I don't know, 1/10 of a mile down the runway, the message finally came up and said, you know, your GPS guidance is suspended. And then we hit the go around button, and then just like the VOR approach, after hitting the go around button, it then was going to sequence us for the missed. But instead of doing the whole missed approach procedure again, we just came back here to Lapeer. So the takeaway that we wanted to give you guys from this is, first of all, the go-around button can be very, very helpful when you're actually flying IFR. It helps reduce your workload because it's one less thing that you have to think about. You hit it, you watch the GPS, make sure it's doing what you expect it to do, and then you get the rest of the aircraft set up and get everything stabilized. Doing the LPV or ILS procedures, because there's a vertical component to those, your missed approach point is when you hit your decision altitude. So as soon as you hit your decision altitude, you hit that button, you're going around, and everything's happy. When you're doing procedures like VOR approaches, particularly ones without the plus V part to them, or maybe even some of your LNAV with no vertical guidance approaches, you have to wait until you hit the missed approach waypoint, then you go around. There is some leeway in there, but the fact of the matter is if you hit the button too early, it will not work. So you have to make sure that you hit the button at the right time and just simply wait for the missed approach point and you'll be good to go. So absolutely a useful feature. This is why we include it on all of our panels. I hope that we've been able to illustrate the usefulness of that, and frankly just how good the GFC 500 or G3X Touch autopilot really is, because it's a really rock solid autopilot even on a heavier airplane like this 182. If you have any questions about the content that you've seen or would like any further clarification on how some of these things work, we'd be happy to assist. Leave a comment in the video description and we'll either reply to you or make a video on it if it warrants such. Thanks for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when we put more informative videos like this up.